Hello and welcome to the Miss Rolling podcast. As usual, my name is Jacob Staten, and as usual, just thirsty. 1 second. I'm joined by JJ Armstrong.
Live and direct, live and in person for the first time ever.
Here we go. Ching ching. We have met before. It's not weird.
We have met before. For people listening to this podcast, you sort of need to watch it on YouTube. This is the first time we've done a podcast where we're not virtual. We're next to each other. Yeah, it's real.
Side by side.
So this is the first.
An absolute first. There you go. How many years in now? 3 years in?
When did the pandemic start?
2020. 3 years in.
Wow, there you go.
Cash money.
It's what they've all been waiting for, really.
Yes. So I've just realised as we're recording right now, we haven't written an itinerary today. All we have to cover off today, though, is the SPURS away loss, preview Newcastle, and kind of, I suppose, anything in between. Maybe we want to talk about the injuries as well. Yes. We'll start at whatever the stupid name of that new ground is. The ground looks very nice. I know it's built on top of White Hart Lane. Why it's not just called New Hart Lane? Or
what is it actually called? Just
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as if it was done by EA Sports itself. Grim. I mean, it could have been. Overall, I'm going to look at it as a high level result. 3-1 away at Spurs isn't the worst result. You know, as much as we all like to laugh and joke about getting Spursy, they are a Champions League team. Conte is I suppose, a good manager. It's more the fact that, you know, we didn't necessarily play well. We also missed a penalty, which would have made the last kind of 90 seconds, 2 minutes very, very interesting. It's one of those things. It just always could have been better, couldn't it?
Is it an expected result to go to Spurs and lose, or is it actually the perfect time to play them after they've crashed out of Champions League? They've lost to Wolves, I believe, was it before? Did they go out in the cup, the other cup, the domestic cup the week before? It was basically, I think, a really good chance to just get at them, go for the throat, get the fans against them. And obviously, they are Spurs, they've got really good talent. However, from the off, I just don't think we attacked it, and I think we look soft-bellied, and everyone beforehand would say, it's Spurs, we expect to lose, but I think it was a really good opportunity to just go for it and at least put up a fight, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think a 3-2 with, you know, if the penalty goes in, 3-2 with a mad scramble of the last 90 seconds. Not saying we would have scored or anything like that, but, you know, just to have the opportunity to get a draw would have looked way more respectable.
I think 3-2 would have been flat. In the end, 3-2 would have been flattering to us.
Yeah.
I don't think we deserved even a 3-1. If I'm being brutally honest, I think 3-2 would have been very, very generous. However, if that penalty goes in, you never know.
Got to be in it to win it. Got to be in it to win it. I just think, and also the Sun finish was good. You know, penalty given away. Like you say, I think there was something there to be got, but kind of at the end of it, you kind of go in, was there actually anything there to be got type of thing. I think if we're going to turn our away form around, it's not Spurs away.
No, but we're running out of... If we're going to turn our away form around, we're running out of options to have that. And I think Cooper talked about the Richarlison goal, which was eventually disallowed, as a warning sign.
Yeah.
And I don't think we showed any signs of it being a warning at all. I think when that went in, I thought, fuck, it's a great finish. But I thought it shouldn't just... I mean, great pass, obviously. Can't knock it, but still it shouldn't be happening. That should have been a warning sign, and I just don't think we really woke up past that.
No. They've
got Harry Kane on the pitch. I mean, we can talk about Joe Worrell giving the penalty away. Was that the first goal?
Second, I think. Second.
What was the first goal? Talk me through that. I can't remember.
It was Harry Kane, wasn't it? He scored 2.
Yeah. Can't remember. I remember the Worrell penalty, but what was the first goal? Who knows? I can't remember. That's how forgettable it is. I imagine it was a collection of defensive errors. But we'll talk about the Worrell conceding the penalty, because that's been a massive talking point. What are your thoughts on that?
He did it earlier in the season, didn't he? What was the game?
Palace? Was it Palace?
Palace, yeah. And he just tends to lose his head a little bit, which is odd. You know, anyone who watched him last season in the Championship would say that was gone from his game last season, wasn't it? And we were actually, a completely separate matter. Well, kind of not completely separate matter, but we were talking the other night about. I think irrespective of what league we're in next season. I'm firmly in. We'll still be in the Premier League, by the way. I think JJ's opinion is different, but okay. We will return to that 3-4-3 or the 5-2-3 when out of possession. I think that is Cooper's preferred method, and I think in that formation, Worrell gets a bit more. I don't want to say protection, but a bit less. A fewer duties, maybe, might be the best way to describe it. So he's got a little bit less to concentrate on, and he doesn't make these kinds of mistakes.
Yes. It was a very stupid challenge, and I think the word naive was thrown about, and that's correct. I think the response to it has been nothing short of ridiculous. Anyone on social media will know that Joe Worrell's gone on a bit of a blocking spree, and there's been a few people who are almost wearing it as a badge of honour that the club captain has blocked them. And I was actually thinking about this on my walk earlier. It's the equivalent of being in an office with someone and them doing something incredible, like making a big sale. The equivalent of him getting us to the Premier League last season, captaining us to the Premier League after all this time, and going, "You are one of the best workers I've ever seen here."
Yep.
A very short amount of time later, gets a promotion, a little bit out of his depth, and then going, "You're fucking rubbish."
Yep.
And then after that, after abusing him and directly atting him on Twitter, going, "Why aren't you performing?" Even though you're literally saying to him, "You're fucking rubbish." Yep. So I think the response to it has been a bit, that's maybe a weird analogy, but I think it's the way I can sort of put it in my brain. And I think it's very bizarre. And this is a moment of time where if we're going to stay in this league, we desperately need the players to turn up and care. And Joe Worrell
will do that.
Obviously, cares for the club. He's lived and breathed it for however long. But if you keep calling him shit on social media, I mean, we've maybe been guilty of that in the past, but directly atting him and all that stuff and whatever, it's not going to help. It's not the right time for it. I think you can criticise a player. That's completely fine. If a player's done something bad, criticise him. Don't at them and call them shit and all that stuff. It's not going to help anyone.
I do find it peculiar when, both sides of the coin actually, that people would actually send them a tweet to somebody, to a player, and actually like directly at them. And I find that peculiar, and I also find peculiar that a player would actually read it.
Well, he doesn't seem that active on social media, so I'm surprised. But it just shows that he is, these players actively do read.
Yeah.
I get your point, but they shouldn't, this isn't what you're saying, but they shouldn't not be allowed to go on social media just in case some idiot. Yeah. I know that's not what you're saying, but just in case some idiot from Colic decides. But
the flip side of that is, but if you are a personality in the public eye and you have a social media account and it's not on private, so it's, do whatever you want, but let's have all your fellow footballers and blah blah blah, and you have it public. What do you expect?
I mean, this podcast is tiny, really. We get abuse, or let's reframe it. I get abuse a lot of the time. It's quieted down since I got my hair cut, but we got a lot of shit when I had my long hair and people saying that
look at his fucking alien head.
Look at my alien head. It looks like a UFO. Look like Blackadder. And I took it in good nature. I took it in good nature, but you can see how, in the wrong environment, how that could possibly affect other people.
I'd have said more Baldrick than Blackadder, but
I've been called that as well. I've been called a lot of things.
Cunning plan master.
I think we've sort of digressed on the initial point, which was the penalty. But it was a naive decision, and I just think Forest fans need to wind the neck in a little bit, directly criticising him, because NEWCASTLE is the best player in the world at the minute because he's not playing.
Yeah.
And I would really like to see NEWCASTLE and Felipe Don't get me wrong. What I've seen in Newcastle, I think he could be the answer. But if he plays tomorrow night and he's rubbish, is he then going to get slagged off? And then what's the answer? We've got no centre-backs left, so... Yeah, just
centre-back's an interesting one as well, because it's not really the sort of position where you can bring somebody on in the last 15 minutes to get them fit. It's sort of you play the whole game, so it's going to be interesting to see when he does come back in, how they do it.
Well, Worrell and Felipe, I don't think they were ready for that partnership to be quite sort of combined at this point, because they only came on because Bolly and McKenna both got injured in the Fulham game. We've been rudely interrupted by Mum. Bring her over.
No, I can't get through.
Mum's just broken the door down, if you've heard that. But we've got a special guest.
Ruby.
It's Ruby.
Ruby Red Dog.
Ruby Red Dog, here she is. Desperate to get to Jacob. You'll see a prediction in the vlog tomorrow. We're going to do a vlog tomorrow. But
We'll do a vlog tomorrow.
but
You
sorry.
go for me.
Go on, again. Thank you. Cheers.
Where were we? Yeah, so, McKenna and Bolly both got injured in the Fulham game, and they got brought on after 5 minutes. I don't think they were. I think that was the future pairing. I think they were thrust into it. Obviously, they've had time in the training pitch, but centre back's a weird one. You can't just chuck people into it, can you? So bizarre. But Felipe did look very good again. I think Felipe looks like he's nailed his position.
Yes, absolutely. So I suppose moving very swiftly on from that 3-1 loss away at Spurs into Ruby's back.
Got Ruby back.
Into the home game tomorrow night, which is where we're recording on Thursday night against Newcastle, which
I'll be there.
Shall be there.
shall be there. Which I think before this season may have been one that we'd kind of be looking at trying to pick up 3 points type thing, but they're a completely different team, aren't they? Sitting in the top 4.
Are they in the top 4 now?
That's maybe not. Let's have a.
I think they're just outside, but our first game this season was against Newcastle, and I remember predicting Forest to win, and it was very quickly within that game that I realised that this is not the same Newcastle side. And obviously watching them quite a few times over this season, definitely not the same Newcastle side that we used to.
No.
They've got threats, they've got from the back, Pope's a fantastic keeper when he isn't getting sent off. Should have got sent off last week. Unfortunately, he didn't for Forest. Trippier is obviously fantastic. They've got Shaw and Botman, centre-backs who are fantastic. I forget who their other fullback is.
They normally play Dan Burn, don't they? But I think he's making Matt Target, isn't he? But he's had a bad injury this season.
Well, Dan Burn's on smoke this year. Joe Linton, Bruno, Almiron,
Joe Willock,
St. Maxim, Joe Willock, Murphy looks good. St. Maxim, whatever.
Yeah, I've lived in Leeds, lad. St. Maxim it is.
Willock, Murphy look fantastic.
St. Maxim.
Isak last week, I don't know if you watched the Wolves game.
He's a good
he
player,
looks
yeah.
mint.
Yeah.
Against Wolves, they probably should have scored 4 or 5 in the first half. And then, the second half, they looked like they were in trouble of not getting anything from the game. So, it's not the same Newcastle side, but they can be get at.
Yeah, absolutely can be got at, yeah. They can't score, certainly can't score at the minute.
But they did look fucking great against Wolves.
Yes, they did, yeah. They did. They didn't look too bad against Man City the other week. I know they lost 2-0. Again, struggling to score goals, but they did look good against Man City. I'll probably take a point. I'm starting to think that's not good enough at this point. But, we had two results really go our way last night with Southampton and Crystal Palace losing. It's very, very tight at the bottom, and I know one win can change everyone's fortunes type thing. I think Villa are cut off now. I think Villa are safe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of from Villa down.
It's Palace down, I think.
Palace down, yeah. So it's going to get very, very interesting towards the bottom. I'm still optimistic. Anyone's listened before now. I'm extremely glass half full, but we're still sat way outside the relegation spots for me. I know it's only a couple of points or whatever, but if you clicked your fingers and the season ended now like it did in COVID, I'd be a very happy man. So it's I think I'd still take a point tomorrow night, but I have an inkling we're going to get all three.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would absolutely take a point. I would take it right now because I don't think we will. At the Leicester game when we lost 4-0, we were rock bottom of the table.
Yep.
I didn't think we'd be where we are now, which is 14th.
Yes.
There's a lot of congestion below us. If we lose tomorrow, it doesn't necessarily mean we're in the relegation zone. However, results don't go away. We could be, which is a worrying thing. If we got a point tomorrow, I think that's a massive result against Newcastle. We could take all three naturally because we've drawn against City, we've beat Liverpool. Technically, we could beat. There's no one else in the league that we should be afraid of, really, because technically we can grind out a result against City. If you can grind out a result against City, you can do anything.
Yeah.
However, pressure's starting to mount. We've played ourselves back into trouble and we've been pathetic the last few weeks. So a point for me would be mammoth.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the only thing that's kind of frustrating me in this relegation battle is that, like, I know they lost last night, which is awesome. But like Southampton aren't cut adrift yet. Yeah, so there isn't anyone who's just completely cut adrift yet, which is it's only a minor frustration because again we are still where we are. But it'd just be nice to know that we're only kind of battling for one position rather than three. Still, you know what I mean?
I think Everton, West Ham, and Leicester.
And that's your bottom three.
No, this is my speculation that they've got enough to shoot back up. My bottom three, I think, and this is why I think we'll be safe, is Bournemouth, Southampton, and Leeds. I think they're three worst teams in us at the minute. I think we're the fourth team.
I'm going to go. I think it'll be Southampton, Leeds, and who's it going to be?
Bournemouth, surely Bournemouth.
No, I don't think Bournemouth. I watched them against Liverpool. I think they are really good at times.
I mean, look at Arsenal the week before. They scored 2 goals and looked like they should have taken all the points.
Yeah.
So you possibly.
And what of Everton or West Ham? I think it'll be.
Really?
No, Leicester. I think Leicester. They're dropped again. They've gone. They're just. I think Brendan Rodgers is actually doing a pretty decent job to keep them out of that bottom three. They didn't sign anyone.
I just think West Ham, Leicester, and Everton all have enough quality.
I certainly think West Ham do. I think they're probably a bit unlucky. Hamish, who we had on the podcast previously, who's a West Ham fan, who we talked to him, he's kind of he's reluctantly in the Moyes out camp now. And it's not because he doesn't like Moyes, it's because they need the results to change to guarantee staying up.
Surely there's no point in him going now.
Absolutely, but like when we played them a couple of weeks ago, obviously we lost 4-0. You sent this, as you always do, you send the screenshots through as soon as they come through the team sheets. I looked at their team and went, how on earth are they anywhere near the relegation zone?
Their squad is ridiculous.
Wild, absolutely wild. So I think West Ham have enough.
Well, if anyone's seen episode 1 of the new Ted Lasso season, Nate now manages West Ham, so they're now the villains. So I hope West Ham go down purely because of Ted Lasso.
Cool. Well, that ruins season 2 of Ted Lasso.
Just kidding. Not really. Shit.
Nate the Snake. There you go.
No, that's not true. Nate's lovely. Nothing happens in season 2. Enjoy your season 1 watch along.
Just an absolute side note. I think the guy's name is Nick Mohammed, who plays Nate.
Right.
He does a really good song of the Jurassic Park theme tune.
Search
it on YouTube. It's incredible.
We've digressed quite a lot. Anyway, West Ham, and now I hope they go down purely because of that. But I think Leeds, Bournemouth, and Southampton. However, I think we've played ourselves into trouble because a few weeks ago we looked like we were on the up.
Easy money.
And I thought, fucking hell, we've done it. Let's push for top 10. We were looking up, not down. And now I think because of the way we've been in recent weeks, we're looking down again. Because it's so tight down there. Like I can't remember a Premier League season where there's this many teams in contention for going down.
I think Serge Aurier said in an interview that we need 4 wins to stay up. I'm going to go out on a limb and say
Three?
I think it's only 2.
Really?
I think we get 6 points, and I'm not saying I'm happy with only getting 6, and I'm not saying that it will be cut above. I just think if we get 6 points, pardon me, we will be clear relegation.
Where does that come from? That's what I'm worried about when I'm looking at the fixture list. I think I see Southampton at home.
Yep.
And I see must win 3 points. The only other potential I see is possibly Wolves at home.
That's a must win.
Is must win, but Wolves are not a relegation side. Particularly since the new manager came in, they found a second gear, I think. So must win, but that would be where I would see that second one coming from. Where else? We need a shot result, I think.
So the only thing, so absolutely. But this was my point: is that we are unbeaten at home for a lengthy period of time. We have beaten Liverpool. We have drawn with Man City. We've drawn with Chelsea. We should have beat Chelsea. I will stand in front of the Trent End and argue with any man and his dog that we outplayed Tottenham at home.
We did.
You know,
we did.
Who else we played? Who's big at home?
Have you said Chelsea?
To Chelsea.
Well, we beat West Ham, I guess.
Beat West. Yeah. So we've got Arsenal at home to come. United at home to come.
They're the big ones. We've got Brighton.
Yeah. So in my head, maybe not a win out of those 3, but it's potentially 3 draws. I'm just we are still very good at home. We're very hard to beat. We've got shock results already at home. Why couldn't we get more?
It's just, it's a reliance on the home results, which is worrying.
Yeah. It's more the draw with Villa at home, the draw with Brentford at home, and I know the Brentford one, the referee put fuck on us, but it's more those kind of results that worry me at home. Everton at home, yeah, we should have won, yeah.
So against Bournemouth, and I guess
Bournemouth,
to a degree, Fulham. You look back at Fulham, it's not really that bad a result.
If we'd have drawn those games, where another 2 points away from relegation,
would be safe, I think.
Yeah.
All every single one of them, Bournemouth and Fulham. If we beat Everton, one of Everton, Brentford, and what was the other one? There's another Villa.
But Ashley Young scored that screamer, didn't he?
If we had 3 more points now, we'd be laughing. I think we'd be looking quite comfortable.
Well, I think that the Fulham Bournemouth games, if we win them and we beat Everton, that's another 8 points.
Yeah,
we are clear.
Definitely,
easy,
definitely.
So I think we're going to round this one off with JJ. What do you think the score will be tomorrow?
Believe it or not, this is me being optimistic. I'm still going for a draw. That's me being optimistic. 1-1. I do think it's going to be a very good game, though. Newcastle can play great football. We're really good at home. It'd be very interesting to see the lineup with Brennan Johnson and Chris Wood, etc. injured.
Apparently, Brennan Johnson's a late test.
A what?
Late fitness test.
Well, Coop said he's out, so he's going to play.
So that's a guaranteed start.
So yeah, 1-1, and believe it or not, that's me being optimistic. Yourself? 1-0.
1-0.
Wow.
1-0. Tell Collins and put me Joker on.
Wow.
There you go. I'm going 1-0. I just think
that'd be huge. We'd go 12, wouldn't we?
We're because I'm really obnoxious. We're too good at home, and they can't score.
Okay. The Newcastle fans watching this after the game enjoy commenting on this.
How weird, Pet.
Or don't comment on this because you got thrashed.
Zing.
Covered both sides of the table there.
So if you listened for the first time, thank you very much for finding us. If you're listening again, we love you very much. You Reds.